the ancient village of Oko, the people believe that every great moment in life, birth, harvest, marriage, and even mourning deserve a music and dance. At the center of the village stood a magnificent palace with tall mud walls decorated with white chalk patterns. Inside lived King Adekule, a wise and powerful ruler who had governed the land for over 30 years. Though respected and loved by his people, the king carried a growing worry in his heart. His only son, Prince Ayo, was now 27 years old and had refused every suggestion of marriage. One evening, the king sat on his carved wooden throne inside the palace courtyard. The air was cool, and lanterns flickered softly in the evening breeze. His advisers sat around him. My people, the king said in a deep voice, our kingdom must continue through my son. Yet he refuses every bride presented to him. The chiefs murmured in agreement. Then the oldest chief, Baba Sola, cleared his throat. Your Majesty, he said slowly, in our culture, the heart often reveals itself through a dance. Let us organize a great dance contest in the village square. The most graceful and talented maiden shall win the honor of becoming the prince's bride. The king stroked his grey beard thoughtfully. A dance contest, he repeated. The idea pleased him. Very well, he declared. Send word to every corner of the kingdom. In 7 days, there will be a grand dance competition. The woman who dances with the most grace and spirit will become the future princess of Oko. The royal gong was beaten that night. Boom, 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 boom. Town criers ran through the streets, shouting the news. People of Oko, hear the king's decree. In 7 days, there shall be a grand dance contest at the palace. The winner will marry Prince Ayo. Excitement swept through the village like wildfire. Women began practicing dance steps in their courtyards. Tailors worked day and night sewing colorful dresses. Drummers polished their talking drums and tested their rhythms. Everyone wanted to witness the event. Among the young women of the village lived Ola, a beautiful and humble girl known for her extraordinary dancing. Ola was not born into wealth. Her father was a farmer who grew cassava and yam, and her mother sold vegetables at the market. Yet, despite their modest life, Ola carried herself with elegance. She had a smooth dark skin that glowed in sunlight, bright expressive eyes, and long braided hair decorated with beads. But what truly made her special was her spirit. Whenever drums played, Ola's body seemed to move as if it was guided by magic. Her feet were light, her movements graceful, and her smile could light up an entire gathering. During festivals, villagers would stop whatever they were doing just to watch her dance. Ola dances like the wind, the elders would say. Her closest friend, Bisi, Kemi, and Roni, often danced with her at celebrations. Outwardly, they supported her, but deep inside their hearts, jealousy had begun to grow. They knew something Ola did not. If the dance contest truly determined the prince's bride, Ola would surely win. One afternoon, Ola and her friends gathered under a large mango tree practicing for the upcoming contest. The drums played softly as Ola moved gracefully. Her friends watched her. Bisi forced a smile but whispered to Kemi, if she dances like this at the palace, none of us stand a chance. Kemi frowned. Everyone in the village knows she's the best dancer. Roni crossed her arms, and if she becomes princess, we'll forever remain ordinary girls. The three exchanged glances. Jealousy slowly turned into something darker. That evening, as the sun painted the sky orange, they secretly met behind Bisi's house. We must stop her, Roni whispered. But how? Kemi asked nervously. Bisi leaned closer. The palace road passes through the old forest. What if we convince her to take a shortcut? Roni's eyes widened, and then Bisi's voice became cold. There is an old dry well in the forest. No one goes there anymore. Silence fell. They all understood the terrible meaning. Finally, Kemi nodded slowly. If she never arrives at the palace, one of us might win. The terrible plan was sealed that night. While the entire village buzzed with excitement, the one person who should care the most did not care at all. Prince Ayo, a tall, strong, and handsome man. Ayo was known not only for his royal blood, but also for his adventurous spirit. Unlike other princes who enjoyed palace luxury, he preferred riding horses, exploring the forest, and hunting in the wild. When the king told him about the dance contest, Ayo sighed. Father, he said respectfully, marriage should come from the heart, not from a competition. The king frowned. My son, leadership requires responsibility. I understand, Ayo replied calmly, but I cannot choose a wife by watching strangers dance. The king's patience wore thin. You will attend the contest, that is a command. Ayo bowed politely, but said nothing more. However, inside his mind, he had already made up a decision. If the contest happened, he simply would not attend. 7 days later, the entire village woke up before sunrise. Women wore colorful wrappers and beads, drummers turned their instruments, the smell of roasted corn and fried beans cake filled the air. The palace courtyard was decorated with palm leaves and bright fabrics. Crowds gathered early, eager to watch the competition. Meanwhile, Ola prepared in her small home. Her mother adjusted the beads in her hair. My daughter, she said warmly, dance with your heart. Ola smiled shyly. I will try my best, Mama. Outside, Bisi, Kemi, and Roni arrived to accompany her to the palace. You look so beautiful, Bisi said with a sweet smile. Come, Kemi added. We know a shortcut that will get us there quickly. Ola trusted them completely. All right, she said happily. They began walking towards the palace, but instead of following the main road, the girls led her towards the forest path. The deeper they walked, the quieter the world became. Tall trees blocked the sunlight, birds chirped overhead. Ola looked around. This path seems strange, she said. Ronnie laughed lightly. It's just a faster way. Soon they arrived at a clearing. At its center stood the old dry well, hidden by tall grass. Before Ola could ask another question, Bisi suddenly pushed her. Ola, watch out! But it was too late. The ground disappeared beneath her feet. She fell into the well. Pain shot through her body as she landed in the bottom. Above her, the circle of sky seemed far away. Kemi, she cried weakly, help me! For a moment, her friends looked down silently. Then Bisi spoke coldly. You were always the best dancer. Ronnie added, but today, we want a chance too. Tears filled Ola's eyes. You tricked me. Without another word, the girls turned and ran back towards the palace. Ola was left alone in darkness. At the same moment, far from the palace celebration, Prince Ayo rode through the forest with his bow and arrows. The quiet of the forest brought him peace. Birds fluttered through trees, sunlight filtered through leaves. Suddenly, he heard something, a faint sound, crying. Ayo stopped his horse. He listened carefully. The crying came again. He followed the sound through the bushes until he reached the clearing, and there he saw an old whale. Hello, he called. From below came a desperate voice. Please, someone, please help me. Ayo rushed forward and looked down. There, far below, sat a young woman covered in dust and tears. What happened? He asked. I was pushed, she said weakly. Without hesitation, the prince tied a rope from his hunting gear to a strong tree. Hold the rope tightly, he instructed. Slowly, carefully, he pulled her up. When Ola finally climbed out, she collapsed on the grass, exhausted. Ayo offered her water. Thank you, she whispered. When she finally looked up at him, their eyes met. For a moment, time seemed to pause. They rested under a tree, Ola explaining everything, the contest, her friend's jealousy and betrayal. Ayo listened quietly. That is terrible, he said, but the contest must already be happening. She sighed sadly. It doesn't matter anymore. They sat in silence. Then Ayo smiled gently. You know, I ran away from that contest too. Ola looked surprised. You did? Yes. My father wants me to choose a wife from that dance. Ola laughed softly. Then you are the prince. Ayo nodded. They both began to laugh at the strange twist of fate. Instead of meeting at the palace, They had met in a forest beside a forgotten well. Since it was already late afternoon, they decided to rest before returning to the village. They talked for hours. Ola spoke about her dreams, her family, her love for dancing. Aya spoke about freedom, adventure, and wanting a partner who understood his heart. The more they talked, the more they realized something special. They were comfortable together. They understood each other. As the sun began to set, the forest glowed with golden light. Ayo looked at her thoughtfully. Ola, he said, today my father tried to force me to find a wife. She smiled gently, but fate already brought one to you. He nodded slowly. Yes, he did. That evening, the palace dance contest had ended. None of the dancers impressed the king, and the prince never appeared. The crowd slowly dispersed in disappointment. Just as the villagers were leaving the square, two figures appeared at the entrance of the village, Prince Ayo and Ola. Gasps spread through the crowd. Ola! Her parents rushed forward and hugged her. Then the prince stepped forward and addressed everyone. My people, he said loudly, today I left the palace because I did not believe in choosing a wife through a contest. He looked at Ola. But in the forest, I found someone brave, kind, and honest. He took her hand and have chosen her as my wife. The crowd erupted into cheers. King Adekule stepped forward, shocked but curious. He studied Ola carefully. Then he smiled. If my son's heart has chosen you, then I approve. The celebration that followed was even greater than the dance contest itself. Drums filled that night, villagers danced beneath the stars, and in the center of it all stood Ola, the girl who was betrayed, rescued by destiny, and chosen by love. Bisi, Kemi, and Roni watched from the crowd, filled with regret and shame. Their jealousy had failed. Ola did not become princess because of a dance. She became princess because of her character, kindness, and faith. And from that day forward, the people of Oko often told the story of the dance of destiny, the tale of the girl who fell into a well but rose to become a queen. Thank you, everyone. If you listen to the end, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you guys next.